All right, everybody, welcome to Conversations with the Higher Self. I'm Allison Gregary, and today I am here with Holly Wynn. Holly is a personal development coach and founder of the Mastery Method. How are you doing, Holly?
Good. And how perfect on a Friday. Fridays always bring about a fun energy, don't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're getting a little bit of cutting out with you, but you know what? It'll happen the way it's meant to happen. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you do, Holly.
Well, it's kind of hard to put in a sentence. As you know, you do the same kind of work. And so, like, to kind of bring about all of these higher level things and put it into human language. But essentially, my background is in psychology. So I am one of those people that's hardwired into wanting to understand the why behind things. So I like to bridge my psychological tools with spiritual expansion and energetic management techniques. And hence the Mastery Method was born. And so it really is about a way to support the human side as we really are embarking upon this spiritual evolution and energetic expansion and raising our consciousness and our vibration, but to really bring us back to that focus that we really are these unified beings. We get very separated and very fragmented, that either we get very caught up in the physical aspect of things, or we want to float around in the ethers and play all day, which is very fun, of course. But, you know, to really anchor these higher levels of ourselves in and anchor these higher frequencies in, so we can spread that out, we emanate that out, and therefore we help humanity and help the planet. And so I do that through a variety of courses and classes and techniques and things of that nature. So that's what I do.
Well, let's talk about where it all began. When did you first realize there was something outside of yourself, a higher self that you could connect with and play around with all this magic?
Oh my gosh, you know what's interesting? I had this question the other day and I thought about it. And I remember as a kid, and it just reminded me, I looked out the window. As a kid, I would look up at the clouds, Allison, and like really believe that the clouds were the things that I was seeing. Like I would literally believe that it was like this magical bunny or a dragon or whatever, you know, like I really believed that the cloud was taking on that form. And I just had this sense of not believing that this is life, right? We just run around and we go to school and we go to work and all of the things. And I always wanted to find those deeper answers. And I was brought up as a Christian, so I always went to church. But even in church, I was always like, there's more, right? There's more to this. Like, they're not telling us all the information. They're not giving us all the information. So I think just that inquisitive part of me it was already there. And then that inquisitive part of me grew into being super curious. And of course, you know, we go through those dark nights of the soul sometimes and we shut it down and we like get lost in our muck and mire. But I think it really took my brother passed. You know, my brother passed. This was 2011. And you know, we had a lot of trauma in my family, but he decided to leave very quickly and he came to me. And I remember it just absolutely shaking me to my core. And then I was terrified to tell anybody, like, they're going to think I'm insane, you know, if I say this. But he came to me and he gave me a message. And ever since he did, like, I just had this feeling like it's okay, you know, like it was supposed to happen and it was supposed to go that way. And that was kind of hard to keep inside because, you know, according to everybody else, no, it's not supposed to happen. No, we're not supposed to experience tragedy. Right. No, he was taken too soon. But it was really part of that divine plan, Allison. It really was. And I think it was made to set in motion and become the catalyst to a greater awakening within me and a greater connection to all things non-physical. And so, of course, it was a very bumpy ride and felt like I was bumbling around in the dark for quite some time. But everything just continued to unfold from there. And I began to be more and more inquisitive. And it's like I turned on that curious brain to explore more of that versus like that tangible, the rules and the analytics and the logical side of stuff. And so it was kind of just like this organic unfolding. But I think the biggest piece was surrendering to it and leaning into it versus fighting it and rejecting it, which I had moments of that. I'll admit. I had moments
Yeah,
of that.
we all do, don't we?
Yeah, I had plenty of moments of that. But really kind of knowing like he's there and he's been kind of like my little guide along the way, and he's bridged a lot of different connections to a lot of different people, and such a gift. So
I'm just going to come right out and say it. Do you mind sharing Kurt's passing with people? Because I think there's a lot of healing that can be extended through this platform to other people who have suffered in the way he has and your family has.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. So Kurt, gosh, like he was one of those people that you just look at and he just enjoys life, right? Like there's no, I don't know, he just lived life differently than anybody. Like every day was kind of like an awakening to, ooh, what can we do today? And like, what are we going to have, be, or become? It wasn't like he ever took a day just as a normal, well, I got to get this done. I got to go do this. I've got to run my errands. He just didn't live that way. And he got in a car accident a few years before he like really kind of fell off the deep end with his addiction problems. He was highly addicted to different types of like pain medication, alcohol to numb out. And I think a lot of it was to numb out the pain. And then he just sort of, I think it just got out of control and it got out of hand. And I think he liked the way it made him feel, for one, but it kind of got away from him. And so he explored and experienced every drug known to man. I mean, literally when they did the autopsy report, they were like, it'd be a shorter list to tell you what wasn't in his system. I'm like, yikes, you know what I mean? So I think he just wanted to have it all and take it all in, but also really battled that addiction monster. And I guess the big piece to take away here is that I never lost faith in him. I think the part that I had to heal within me was that, and I hate to call it this, but they call it the survivor's guilt. Like, oh, I should have done something to save him. I should have done this. I should have done that. I mean, we were in and out of clinics, in and out of, rehab centers, in and out of doctor's offices and all the things. And I would always come to his beck and call to try to help him and save him. And I was constantly his support system. But I felt truly after he passed that somehow in some way it was my fault, because I did not, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I didn't save him. I didn't do something good enough. And of course my mom went through that too. So I think what we learned from it, at least, is that, yeah, we have an influence over people and their life and their decisions, but we don't choose it for them. You know what I mean? And so to like separate yourself from that is huge. And it's kind of like a gut punch, because you think that, oh, well, then I'm just saying that, oh, well, for them. And that's not it at all. It's almost like honoring that individual and honoring their journey and their soul path and their human experience and their human path. I think that we all come in with a soul path and a soul blueprint. And I think that we also have that human counterpart, that has its free will and has its desires to want to experience. And we kind of find ourselves either in harmony with it or in conflict of it. And I think that that's kind of what he got caught up in. And it was a beautiful learning lesson for us all, but I've really released a lot of that guilt and that shame and even the sadness and sorrow and the horror of going through something like that, of getting that phone call, and it was a horrible day, but it's like, I don't focus on that anymore. And
the fact that he's with you is so awesome. I feel like he's here right now.
Oh, he is.
Totally.
I'm sure
Totally feel it.
Yeah. He's got a fun energy, doesn't he?
He does.
He comes in and he's just excited for people to be excited about life again. I think that's the overall message he's constantly trying to give anyone, is just be excited for life. Don't get hung up on your mistakes. Don't get hung up on judging one another. Just be excited for life. And take it as it comes and learn from the times where you feel like you're kind of down and maybe you're not making the best choices. That's not the end. You always get an opportunity to recreate yourself. And I think that's exactly what he's done on the other side. He's like recreated his frequency to be something completely amazing. And so yeah, that's kind of the story. And we've experienced a lot of that in my family, a lot of suicide. So I'm very passionate about it. You know me personally, so you know I'm very passionate about that. So I feel like that's so fun that he always comes in with that message of just be excited for life, right? Don't just be sucked into to what's going wrong. Like really what's going right. Even if it's one stupid little thing, even if it's just because the radio played a song you like, put it in that category. It's going right, right? It's going right. Something's going right.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, Holly and I have been friends for quite a while, and we both kind of were on parallel paths in our awakening journey. So it's so wonderful to talk with you. And with that said, you think about how our thought processes were back then and how they are now. Talk about some of that evolution for you and how it's blossomed into this magical life that you have now.
I feel like you really do have a little magical life.
You do.
We really do have parallel existences. You do realize
RVs,
that, right?
man. We're both in RVs. What does that say?
We are both, yes, we are both in RVs. Like I sold pretty much everything I owned, sold my house without a plan, didn't even have a plan, just was like, this is what we're going to do. And so, which is interesting. And I'm talking about that for a reason. You said the evolution, like I really was that person that I needed the plan. I needed to know how it was going to work. I needed to know all the details. I needed to know who was going to be involved. I didn't know how it was going to play out. Like I was very oriented on ensuring all the things go right. And so that kind of produces this aspect of you that comes out as like controlling, right? You're trying to control all the things and micromanage. But it just breeds such a level of distrust of the magic of life and distrust in even what source in the universe can provide you and aligning to receiving that support. And for me, my personal journey, that's what I uncovered about myself is that I was not giving myself the love, the trust, the value, and the appreciation and the honor ultimately inside. And so it was a direct reflection of how I conducted myself and my habits and my behaviors. And I wasn't valuing myself or my capabilities enough. So I needed to control something outside of me to prove that it would be okay. And so again, it was just like this entanglement of distrust all over the place. And I would see it being represented in friendships that would either be made, created, or destroyed. You know, other situations and circumstances until I fully realized that, you know what, we really are in the driver's seat of our life. And yet we're not like the ultimate creator. I think we're co-creating, right? We're co-creating with all of the universal forces and other people and other frequencies. And I think that helped me because I always had this sense of like blame or shame of like, if I'm the creator of my reality, why am I creating this? And why am I attracting this? And shame on me, I'm in a bad vibe, right?
Yep.
But if we can really like just confront those fears and confront those parts of us that we don't want to see. I didn't want to see that I was controlling. I didn't want to admit it because it was far more rewarding for me to be in that and be like so like micromanaging everything to feel like, okay, I'm important in my life. But what I realized is like I was just not placing the importance on what I really needed to prioritize. And that was my heart's desires, my energy, my soul, like what I appreciate even about my body, my mind, my purpose, my words, my everything. I was not putting that focus and attention on that ultimately. And so it was being like really misguided and contorted and behaviors that were not supporting my higher purpose. And that was really the biggest shift for me, Allison. I'll be honest. That was like a knock you upside the head kind of shift. And once you kind of relax and release that, surrender is possible. I know when I was in control, surrender was like, yeah, that's not for me. Y'all can surrender if you want to, but I got better things to do.
I got my to-do list.
Yeah, I've got shit to do. So yeah, and now I'm just like, you know, I'll have plans. And of course, I've got a business I run and there's structure and there's all this and that, but it's not with the same energetic undertone, right? The intentional energy and the intentional attitude and approach and perspective has just completely been transformed in that of excitement, Like I really lean on that. If something does not excite my heart, I'm not going to place my energy, my time, and my effort into it. I'm just realizing that that's just a message universally that maybe that's not for me. You know, maybe that's not for me. And maybe it's just not right now. But what can I place my energy and focus in that's going to produce that reciprocal nature? So I can value myself. I'm going to value this thing, and therefore it reciprocates back to me. So yeah,
it all comes from within. All from within. Yeah.
And isn't it funny when you get those messages? I know you and I would pull cards, and it would be like, starts within, love yourself, and you're like, ah, give me something else, give me another
Where's
message.
The good stuff? I want the meat, man.
Yeah, give me something better than this. But it's gonna repeat, isn't it? It's gonna repeat until like you get it. And I don't know, it's been fun, it's been hard, it's been challenging, but it's also been fun.
Yeah, beautiful challenges. There's so many beautiful lessons in those challenges. Now you also have a hubby who is a spiritual practitioner. He's a healer.
Yes.
How did that come to be? Because that's kind of neat, you know, two spiritual practitioners coming together and major magic.
Without even like on purpose, right? We met like divine timing, synchronistic. Like I left one job, was going to this other job. He left one job, going to the same job, living in two different states. Somehow we get hired on the exact same day. Had no clue. And isn't that fun? And we were actually, he was leaving the interview when I was coming in to be interviewed. So we still didn't even like see each other. Like, I guess we crossed paths. He was probably pulling out of the parking lot when I was pulling in. And months and months and months went by of us just working together. And then one day we just had this random conversation. And then I think I blurted out or something probably inappropriate. Like, I feel like I'm doing it forever. Like, you know, in a work setting. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? All these calls are recorded. And he was like, you could hear him on the other side. Like, I just want to hang up and like not be part of this. And I don't know, our energies just kept like being magnetized to one another. And long story short, we became, you know, close friends, and that just evolved into a beautiful friendship, beautiful relationship, still married. And he had no idea he was a healer at the time. I had no idea I was a healer at the time. We were just kind of like bumbling through. He experienced some tragedy. I had experienced some tragedy, and we're just like trying to make our way through that material life, right? Just go to work, get paid, pay the bills. That was kind of the modality we were both in. And then we both kept realizing that it was just fun to discover more in life. And we both just sort of like had parallel paths too, as far as like understanding our healing capabilities and how they were going to come to be. And he just kind of decided one day that he wanted to experience more in life. And so we both went to this workshop. And he was told he was a healer, and he was like, I don't even know what that means, and I don't know if that's right to do that, you know, like all the human
the programs.
Yeah, like I don't know. And then he just was like, practiced it, and then watched the healing happen like live to people. And he was like, holy crap, like I don't even know if I can handle the weight of this knowledge, and like tried to reject it for a while, then leaned into it. Same with me. And now he's, oh my God, I haven't even told you this. He's got a client now that was legally blind, Alleson. I'm not even remotely kidding. It's been measured by tests. Like he used to have to fake it at the driver's license office, like have someone memorize the little, you know, the little thing that you read, the little scan test. And he would go in there and fake it just so he could get his driver's license. So he went back to the doctor, and Danny's been doing a lot of healings on him and working on it. But now he has like 20/20 vision.
Oh my.
And it's like, it's still, I think Danny still is like, not necessarily a misbelief, but I guess awe is a better thing to say. Like this is so amazing. These are the energies we co-create with, right? That's what I'm saying. And I know you have your own co-creation.
We are gods and goddesses creating beautiful things. I mean, it's not surprising he did that to me.
Right. It's just so cool.
It's so fun.
It's so fun. It's so fun. And we all have that capability too. That's the thing. You know, we all can lean into what our natural gifts are and partner with, you know, the co-creative forces and different frequencies that are available to us at any and all time. to bring about massive change and messages for enlightenment and encouragement for our fellow brothers and sisters. Like, it's endless. It really is. I could talk about this all day.
I know. I love it. I just love your energy. You're so beautiful. So, and I know you have a blended family, and you got two littles still at home, not so little anymore, teen littles. How does what you guys do affect them? What do they see? Are they showing any potential gifts, or is anything flourishing for them?
Absolutely, actually. So Kenna is 15 now, and Jax is 12. And so, oh my gosh, I think Jax is going to be a little healer just like his dad. And Kenna is extraordinarily empathic. We've actually, she's kind of was learning the shadow side of the empath stuff. In the last school that she was in, she was realizing that she was just burdened with so much anxiety. And what we've really kind of determined is that she's just so sensitive to other people and their needs, and if they're in pain or if they're hurting or if something's wrong. And so she was inadvertently like taking on that energy and didn't understand it, obviously, but would come home just like completely annihilated energetically, or would just bust out into tears, or just be so sad for no reason. And she literally told me one day, I think her little higher self had come in. I had walked into the bedroom and she was just on the bed crying. I'm like, baby, what's wrong? And she said, I don't know. I'm just crying for the world. It just hurts. And I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, as a mom, like everything in you just like, woo, just comes into that moment. Of course, my mama heart just broke. But then like that spiritual part of me was like, it's time, like step forward. Like, I've got to teach her the way, you know, like there's no other way to be like, oh, just, you'll be okay. Shake it off. You know what I mean? Like, it was time to have that conversation of, okay, this is what's happening and this is what we can do. And this is what your gift is. And let's explore it. So now she's all about it. And she understands how to put up her own energetic boundaries. I don't necessarily believe in protection per se, but just understanding to have strong boundaries so she can discern easily what's her energy, what's not her energy. You know, what situations she should interact with, what she shouldn't interact with, how to really pray for the world in a healthy fashion. And she's all about, like, I've got a stack of them, I know you do too, like all the little cards. She's got her like crystal collection. So she's very in tune with unity, like the unity consciousness. This child sees people, like, I don't know how to explain it, but she doesn't see them in human, like she sees them, like she sees their soul, I guess. It's really interesting. Someone asked her the other day, she's got a new group of friends, and someone was like, you know, who is this, you know, your friend, is that a girl or a boy? And she's like, oh, I don't know, I never even thought about it like that. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't even, like, she literally was like, oh, I don't know. Am I supposed to ask them? You know what I mean? She was looking at that person like, why are you even asking me that question? Like, I don't understand. Like, her brain couldn't even comprehend that. Like, she legitimately just sees them. And, you know, that's part of her gift, but also part of why she was experiencing so much of that, like, energetic weight. So I just think that she's going to be highly attuned to be able to like calibrate people to their inner higher knowings, and probably be able to maybe bridge people to their gifts. I don't know quite yet, but I know that it's unfolding, and I'm pretty convinced that her gift is probably something that I've never even seen in like my community or just my experience. So I'm like learning from her. You know what I mean?
Kids are doing that though. They're coming in with these amazing abilities that none of us have seen. It's fascinating.
It's kind of like, I don't know, it makes you kind of go through a whole nother level of awakening, doesn't it? Like, don't you notice that? Probably even with your kids. And it's, I don't know, I seriously learn from them every day. It's really amazing. Jackson has such an open, unconditionally loving, forgiving spirit. I've not really seen that in a lot of people. I mean, he was even bullied recently, and he was like, well, we can love him anyways. I didn't like what he did, but we can love him anyways. And I was like, good for you. Like most kids would be like, I want to punch him in the face.
They're evolved beyond their years, really. They're old souls, definitely.
They are.
I believe they are going to teach us. We're all going to learn from them.
I agree. I totally agree. They need a lot of recharge time. Like they're actually really automatically calibrated to know when they need to recharge and like do self-care. Like we've been having to teach ourselves, right? Like self-care, self-love, yada, yada. They just know, like they'll tell me, all right, I need time. I'm going to like put the phone here and I'm going to be in my room and I'm going to draw for a while, or I'm going to go for a walk and I need to be alone. Or I'm going to go play my guitar we've got a pasture. I'm going to go play the guitar in the pasture with the donkeys, or they want to love on the cows or whatever. Like they just know. And so again, learning from them. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to watch it.
And how evolved of you all to follow your intuitive sense and higher selves to know, get rid of all the crap, go out, live in the, 40 acres on a pasture. Because what a beautiful environment for those souls to foster and grow and just not have the clutter of everyday life around them,
Yeah. And I think it's been a good lesson because they even said the other day, we asked like, how's it going? Yada, yada. And they're like, we just don't have those same feelings that we used to have. We used to be in like a really, affluent area, high-end little neighborhood, just all the stuff. And they're just like, it's just easy to live here. I was like, you're right, it is. And it's just peaceful, and that's what they're recognizing. And I'm going to admit, it was a dramatic change. They were kind of freaked out when we did it.
I bet.
They were freaked out. Allison McKenna had a breakdown. Like she was screaming, crying at me. No, I can't do this. And now she's like, this was the absolute very best thing for me. So I feel like that's going to carry over in her adulthood. And like, what a cool lesson that even when you were thinking everything's falling apart, it was actually falling into place to serve your higher purpose and to serve your, heart's excitement, your spirit, all of those things. And I'm glad, because I tell you, that challenged my own intuition as a mom. Like you see your kid crying and like, no, please don't make me. And you're like, God, am I making a terrible decision? Am I ruining their life? What am I doing? But sticking to it and just knowing like, no, I know I got this message from somewhere outside of me, and it's bigger than me, and it's bigger than my fears, and it's bigger than my doubts. And I just had to keep realigning to that same energy to keep me through. Because there were times where I definitely was entertaining doubt.
Nature is so healing, though. It's so wonderful to just have that connection. I saw you pick up a little box of cards. Want to pull a card for us?
Oh, yeah, I can pull a card.
Let's pull one for the collective, because there's so much going on right now. Everybody's feeling a little bit tense, and
I agree.
Let's get some guidance.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. This is actually a special treat. I had no idea I was going to do this.
I know, I like to spring things on people.
I know, I like it. I'm all about it. I have developed my own card deck. You don't even know that.
Oh my, I need one.
Yeah, you do. They're pretty powerful. This was part of me standing in my purpose and not fearing the judgment or like ridicule or people thinking I'm like woo crazy, because I had this Syrian guide come to me, and like I started downloading all of these like symbols and energies and frequencies, and they're Syrian activation cards. Wow. The booklet I don't have the booklet printed, but I'll show you all the cards. But each symbol contains like the frequency formula that's embedded in the symbol. So I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to choose what's for the collective, but I'm going to hold it up. And then what you do is you focus in on that symbol and just notice what part of your physical body responds to it.
This is such a treat.
It's so cool. It's so freaking cool. And what you'll notice is like some people get something hot, sometimes their heart beats fast, sometimes they just feel like a wave of happiness, but it sort of goes in and disrupts the patterns that we have from a human standpoint. Like we stay in stories, right? I can't do this because I can't do that, or whatever, we stay in that, and that gets embedded in our molecular structure, right? In our cells, and it becomes imprinted in our DNA. So these are kind of like, they restructure your DNA if like you really work with them. And believe it or not, it was only 2 or 3 months after I brought these through that I changed everything in my life. And this is why we're here, to be honest.
So are these going to be for sale soon?
Yeah, they'll be for sale soon.
Okay.
I've got to get the booklet printed up, and these are just the prototype. I don't have the backs done. We're going to put the Syrian constellation on the back. I had an artist help me put the design behind it. And so,
this is so exciting. Oh, I'm so happy for you.
So freaking cool. We'll have to schedule a visit in person so I can like really show you everything.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So let's see. What does the collective need? Yeah, this is good. I'm going to pull 3 actually. All right. So these are the ones that came through. All right. So the first one is the code for compassion.
Oh gosh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Mm.
I just like feel like my cheeks like soften every time I look at this one. And like, think about this. If we really take everything that we're scared of right now, if we're fretful of, if we're fearing, and we just open up, God, I feel like my heart's expanding through this. If we just open up and pretend like there's literally a portal that is the access to pure compassionate energy and pure uncontaminated compassionate frequency, and we just scoop everything up that is in conflict to that and just pour it down in that portal and allow that compassion to transmute it. Don't have to worry, but we feel like we need to fix and we need to fight and we need to all the things. But what if that thing that you're trying to fight, you can have compassion for? How would that change your life? And how would you shift? And how would you treat your fellow brothers and sisters? Most likely very different, right? Instead of trying to prove your point or your view or push your views on someone else, but instead honor the space that they're in and honor their journey, but honor yours too. And that compassionate energy to me is that bridge between the two. So let me know how you feel about that.
Wow. Oh, I'm in awe of you. The person I saw last time I saw you has probably been what, year and a half? Has it been year and a half, 2 years since we saw each other? And I'm just like, whoa, she's some major goddess. She's just like so stepped into her own. You are so aligned and just so, it just radiates from every cell of your being. It's beautiful.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm telling you, those challenges, girl, like you do. I had to do this a lot of this for myself.
Yeah.
A lot of compassion. Yeah. So the next one is trust. So this is something that's a real challenge for a lot of us, because we either don't trust each other or we don't trust messages or information or knowledge coming our way. And so we get into deflecting it or fighting it. And when we're in that energetic space, we don't open up to what's most aligned for us. So when we're in a place of distrust, we're basically shutting down our receiving channels. And so we don't become aligned to the things that are supposed to be coming into our life, whether it's abundance or prosperity or peace or harmony or a new relationship for that matter. It could be anything, right? But when we're in distrust, we're basically saying no to this, no to that, no to ourselves. So it's not about just trusting everything you see and hear and know. It's about elevating that trust to kind of the flip side of discernment, like when you really discern what's in highest alignment for you. But it's just trusting that every single situation, person, place, and thing are really part of a divine plan and part of a divine structure. And if you kind of shed the lenses of the judgment of, oh, that's bad, or this is bad, or that, we're really in a universe of polarity. So you can observe and not attach. So just trust that your heart's always going to guide you. Even if it's something that you don't like, trust that you can see yourself through it. So I love this one. This one helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And the last one to like really kind of pull these together, I think it's so perfect that we got guided to this one, is ground.
Oh,
so we always want to ground, right? We want to ground physically. We want to ground our energy. But what is most important, especially for those of us that claim to be light workers, even if you're not a light worker, maybe you're just a guardian of the light, a holder of the light, an anchor of the light, right?
Which is just as important.
It's vital, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people that I've been coaching lately, they're like, yeah, but I don't want to be a light worker. I'm actually an attorney, or I'm a doctor, or I'm this. I'm like, doesn't matter. You have come into this circle for a reason, right? So that means that maybe you're not necessarily working it, but what's most important is for you to ground these frequencies in and anchor in these higher energies, because you're the keeper of the light, which means like we really bridge that higher level of consciousness amongst one another if we're anchoring in that light more and more and more. So either you're the keeper, you're the guardian, you're the bridge, you're the igniter of maybe someone else's light, but really kind of ground that energy in, and grounding in these energies of the trust and of the compassion. Because if it's just an idea and a thought, it's nebulous, right? It's kind of like floating around us. But if we really pull it into our bodies and our physical being, guess what? Everything non-physical turns into physical. So we're going to translate that out and experience it from our physical counterparts. So we'll watch it happen. We get to witness these things come to life. And I think that's what all of us are doing, right? The spiritual communities is really urging folks, ground it in, anchor it, for crying out loud, new world, right? All the things. So anyways, yeah, I think these were perfect for today. What do you think?
Oh gosh, I think they're beautiful. And it's so beautiful to witness you and how you've come into this beautiful space that you are in now. You're just flowing, and I'm so happy for you. So happy for you.
Too.
So
I appreciate you.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do. And we don't see each other, but we're connected all the time. I feel it.
All the time.
Yeah,
I do too.
So I know there's going to be a lot of people are going to go, wow, who's that gal? I want to know her. Where can I find her? What's going on with her? So give us a little overview of what Holly does, and even throw in what Danny does, your husband, because there may be some interest in that out there too.
Yeah. So I've got a lot of little free trainings and stuff. If someone just wants to check me out, they're more than welcome to. I've got a website, IamHollyWynn.com. And it's Wynn, W-Y-N-N.
We'll post it below for sure.
Yeah, we'll post it. IamHollyWynn.com. And I've got a beautiful like channeled empowerment meditation and a free little ebook if you just want to kind of feel me and feel the energies. But I encourage everyone to do it, just because, you know, for us to be in an empowered space, that's really the frequency that we're going to be lending out across the world. And the Mastery Method is a free Facebook group that I have created, just a free Facebook community that we come together. I do live card pulls. I use these. I do the activations a lot. But it really is a safe zone for you to discover yourself and your gifts. And we do a lot of trainings that are more on like the psychological end of things. Like I've got a free training. It's all about imposter syndrome, feeling like I don't belong, feeling like you can't shine your gifts. And that's really kind of like a psychological focus. I also do a lot of like the woo-woo stuff, and I bring all those energies in, and we do clearings, and we do activations, and we play with dragons and fairies and all the fun stuff. So I really, again, it really is about bridging those two worlds. It kind of feels like it should be either or, but I don't believe in that. I believe in and like really supporting our human mind, so our human mind can hold the capacity of these energies that we're moving into and that we've got to anchor in. So I feel like there's really such value to bridging the two. So I have a ton of free stuff in the group, to be honest. The email list, you get a meditation every month. We've got mantras, worksheets, workbooks, all the stuff. And then also have courses for those that want to invest and like go further. You can certainly do that. But I like to have an offering for everybody, because everybody's in different spaces.
Right.
You know that we go through different phases. It shouldn't just be one thing, in my opinion. And then He actually has his own Facebook group too. It's Win It Life with Danny Wynn. And we can post that below too. But sometimes he'll do little trainings and, free classes and whatnot. Sometimes we do just like free group healings, because that's really our passion, for everybody to be in a cleared, empowered sense of self, because then we have more impact, more influence over bringing humanity up to higher levels, so we can collaborate and co-create at, higher levels of ourselves, versus like feeding into these pain patterns that we've been doing lately. So you can find him there. He doesn't have his own website. He's kind of like this little incognito, like you find him through people. I'm like, put yourself out there, man. He's like, it's like referral, right? Like someone's like, hey, I got somebody. And so it'll be a message to a message to a message. And I'm like, why are you doing this, man? I'm like, get the freaking website. He's like, I don't know. Like, you know how he can be sometimes.
Yeah, I love him.
But yeah. So you can find us there if you want to.
Awesome. Well, I know you got to go get your littles, your big littles.
I do.
So
Jackson has a dance today, so he's excited about that. He's got a little middle school dance, so he's going to do that. And Kenna's eager to feed the animals. So yeah, I hope that someone found some value from this. I can't thank you enough, Alleson, to believe in me and trust in me. Y'all, Alleson has been an integral part of my journey personally. I will always, to the day I die, be so eternally grateful for you in so many different ways.
I love you so much.
I love you so much.
All right,
and
I go get those
sweeties.
Doing. Oh, and we're gonna get you and Danny on together at some point too. That would be fun.
Yeah, I would love that.
All right,
Thank
girlfriend.
you so much for having me.
You bet. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Well, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.